The series is sponsored by Retool, the fast way to build internal tools. Retool provides a set of best-in-class UI components and pre-built data connectors for databases and APIs in a drag-and-drop interface so you can compose apps at the speed of thought. Skip boilerplate code with 90+ pre-built components, import custom React components, and write Java. Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Shwas, and welcome to a brand new tutorial series on Material UI for React. In this introductory video, let's take a look at what is Material UI, the prerequisites for this course, and also the course structure. Let's begin. What is Material UI? Material UI is a UI component library. What that means is Material UI provides us with components to build awesome user interfaces in quick time. It is also an implementation of Google's Material Design specification. Just like how we have Angular Material for Angular and Beautify for Vue, we have Material UI for React. The goal here is to learn how to use the library components to build clean and elegant user interface. Now before we get started, let me quickly run you through the prerequisites. As always, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript go without saying. In the fundamentals of React on my channel is 5. With new releases, there might be minor tweaks, but what you will learn in this series will benefit you for the future versions to come. With this course, about typography, components under 5 major categories. We have inputs or form controls, layout, navigation, data display, and feedback. And we will also look at a few components that are experimental and not part of the core Material UI library. Finally, we will take a closer look at customization in Material UI. Now, I do have to mention that every topic in this series has a supporting example in the Material UI docs. However, as a beginner, it is sometimes difficult for us to understand what the code is doing. So my intention is to sort of help you get an understanding of the code by giving you some context and also breaking down the code responsible for a particular component. By the end of this course, you will have a solid understanding of how the individual Material UI components work. You can then use that knowledge to build React applications that suit your requirement. Alright then, let's get started in the next video. Alright, in this video, let's get started with some code setup. As you can see, I have created a folder that works opposed to plain JavaScript. If you're not comfortable with TypeScript, you don't have to worry, as this will serve as a learning exercise. So we first need a React app that is configured specifically for TypeScript. Luckily for us, Create React App provides a TypeScript template we can use. So in the terminal, run the command npm. You should type back. In a new terminal, I'm going to copy the yarn command. Back in VS Code, in a new terminal, navigate inside the project folder once again, and paste the command. Yarn add at MUI/material at emotion/react at emotion/styled. Here, MUI/material is the core material library, which provides us with ready-to-use components, and emotion is a library designed for writing CSS styles with JavaScript and is the default styling solution used with version 5 of Material UI. We will see more of this styling solution later on in the course. Go ahead and run the command. Dependency in package.json. Alright, with the packages now installed, I'm going to make small changes to ensure we are ready to learn our first Material UI component in the next video. Within the source folder, in app.tsx, I'm going to remove the header content and also the unnecessary imports at the top. In the source folder again, I'm going to create a new folder called components. I'm going to leave this empty. Alright, now that we have a React app with Material UI installed, in the next video, let's take a look at typography in Material UI. In this video, let's discuss about typography in Material UI. Now, typography basically deals with the style and appearance of text on your website. If your website has text content with way too many styles or font sizes, it sort of spoils the UI. To address this concern, Material UI provides typography levels. Each level has a definite font size, font weight, and line height. Let's take a closer look at the different typography levels. In the components folder, I'm going to create a new file called MUI typography.tsx. .tsx since we are working with TypeScript in this series. Within the file, I'm going to use the snippet RAFC to create a function component. To use Material UI's typography, we first need to import it. So at the top, import typography from @MUI/material. Now let's invoke this component in the JSX. Opening and closing tag. Now there are 13 different variations of this component, but we are going to take a look at 10 important ones in this video. First, we're going to look at the heading variants. To specify the variant, use the variant prop. And for headings, the variant ranges from H1 to H6. Let me create all of them. So variant is equal to H1, and the text or the content between the opening and closing tags is H1 heading. I'm going to duplicate 5 times and change H1 to H2, H3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me also make sure I've spelled typography correctly. Now let's include this component in app component and head to the browser. You can see how they appear on the web page. Variant H1 has the largest size, and the size decreases as we move towards H6. But what is great is that they carry the semantic element with them. If I inspect, you can see the HTML elements are H1, H2, H3, till H6. They are not just div tags with some styling. Now there are 2 more variants of the H6 tag that you can use and doesn't stand out as much as the H6 variant. They are subtitle 1 and subtitle 2. So I'm going to make 2 more copies of typography and change the variant to subtitle 1 and subtitle 2. This is subtitle 1 and this is subtitle 2. Take a look at the browser and we have subtitle 1 and 2 being displayed. If I inspect the element, you can see they are also H6 elements. However, they have different styles. Subtitle 1 has a larger font size but lesser font weight, and subtitle 2 is the other way around. Depending on your use case, you can use these 2 variants as well. The final 2 variants are related to body text. If you have paragraphs of text which you need to display, you can make use of body 1 and body 2 as variants. So make a copy of the typography tag again, change subtitle 1 to body 1, and subtitle 2 variant to body 2. The inner text though, since we need a good amount of content, I'm going to add lorem ipsum text. So just type in lorem and tab, and it populates the text for us to work with. If you take a look at the browser, you can see the 2 variants have a paragraph tag as the element. Body 1 is the default 16 pixels, normal font weight element, and body 2 is a smaller version of it. What you should also know is body 1 is the default value of the variant prop. So if I remove variant is equal to body 1, head back to the browser, there is no change, and body 1 class is still present on the paragraph tag. So body 1 and body 2 are in fact rendered as paragraph HTML elements. Now the font sizes and font weights are all defaults from Material UI. You can, however, change it when configuring the theme. Theme and customization, however, is something we will learn later on in the series, but since we will be using default theme as we come across different components, I want to quickly point you at the right resource. In the Material UI docs, under customization, navigate to default theme. Scroll down and click on expand all. This gives you the default theme that Material UI uses. For example, the different values for breakpoints, the color palette for our application, spacing values, shadows, and we also have the typography styles. These are the styles applied to our typography variants we've just seen. Whenever we learn a new component and I make use of a style from the theme, I would like you to refer back to this theme object and understand what is the style being applied. At the end of this course, we'll also teach you how to customize this theme so you don't have to always rely on the default values. Now the next point about typography component is that you can change the semantic element using the component prop. For example, I want to use the H4 tag as the heading element in every page. However, I want the underlying HTML tag to be H1 and not H4. For that, we can specify component is equal to H1, and if we now take a look at the browser, inspect the H4 element, you can see we have the same styles, but the HTML element is an H1 element. And this is really important for semantics. The final prop I would like to highlight is gutter bottom. On the H4 variant, I'm going to set gutter bottom. By default, its value is false. If you do specify it on the component, however, the text will have a bottom margin. If we head to the browser and I hover on H4, you can see the margin at the bottom. What is great as well is the margin is dependent on the variant. Larger variants have more margin than smaller variants. Typically, when you specify page titles or section headings, adding a bit of space at the bottom is common, and gutter bottom is the best way to do that. So that is about typography in Material UI, one component with a set of variants concerned with appearance of text in your application. In the next video, let's take a look at buttons in Material UI. MUI buttons are basically native button or anchor elements enhanced with material design. Let's begin by creating a new file in the components folder, MUI-button.tsx. Within the file, I'm going to create a new component. Now to make use of MUI buttons, we need to import the button component. So import button from MUI/material. The button component has 3 variants that we can use. Let's look at examples of each. First, we have the text variant.
อะเชียวis egg prop กันเยอะอ้าวอะไรวะเนี่ย Navigation dollar. Slide bar decorator. Replace entire code. Oh, อะไรวะเนี่ยโอ้โห reminder.
So before we actually move ahead and learn exactly what is JSX in this lecture, I just want to quickly cover a simple tool which could be used for tag like that. And let's say if I have some space here. So what happens is as soon as I save my code here, as you can see my code called as this lecture. But for those of you who don't know what Prettier is and how to set it up, this is the lecture for you. So in order to set up Prettier, simply go to the extensions tab here and search for an extension called as Prettier and click on the first extension, which is the most popular one which pops up. And over here, you just need to install and enable that extension. And once that particular extension is enabled, what you could do is you could simply scroll down over here. And here, you just need to copy the code which is given here. So this is the code which you need to include in your settings.json file. So you simply have to copy this code and then you have to go to File, your preferences, then go to settings, and once this file pops up, you actually have to open up the JSON format of that particular file. And over here, I've already pasted that particular snippet here. So you just have to give a comma, and after giving a comma, you just have to paste this code, which is nothing but the settings for the Prettier extension. So after copying and pasting this in here, you simply have to give a comma at the end as well, just the way which I have given here. So make sure that you have a comma over here and over here, or else your file is going to have some errors. So simply go ahead, make sure that your file looks the same as this one. Save this, and after saving this, there's one more setting which you need to change. So again, if your settings file is closed, you again go to file, go to preferences, go to settings, and over here you have to search for an option which says format on save. So format on save. And you need to make sure that the format on save option is enabled. So what this basically does is, whenever you go ahead and whenever your code is unformatted, so let's say, let me mess up this code, and let's say if you have some code which is like this, and now if I simply go ahead and press Ctrl S or Command S, the code is automatically going to be formatted for you by Prettier. So this is how you could go ahead and make use of Prettier.
I'm Cameron McKenzie, editor-in-chief of theserverside.com, and I wanted to talk to you about merge conflicts in GitHub and how to use conflict. But in order to do that, you first have to create a merge conflict. And it's fairly easy to do. A merge conflict happens when two different branches edit the same file. So you can see I've got the alpha.html file here. That's on the master branch. There's nothing in it. I'm going to create a new branch called feature based on the master branch. Create branch feature from master branch. The alpha file in the master branch. Where the alpha.html file, it's been updated in the master branch. So I'm going to go over here and click on pull request, and I'm going to say I'm going to create a new pull request. Now notice it barks right away. Cannot automatically merge into this GitHub branch. But I'm going to click create pull request anyways. Fix this way to fix a merge conflict is not to have a GitHub merge conflict at all. So I put a little comment in there that this needs to be fixed. Notice it does say this branch has conflicts which must be resolved. It says use the web editor or the command line. We'll use the web editor. We're going to do all of this in Git. And this is all the help that Git or GitHub is going to give you. It just says, look, this is what's on the feature branch. That's what's on the master branch. I got no way to figure out what you want to do here. So you got to fix it. So this is Java code. Two people have written code in the same method. You're going to have to delete some code, add some code in, then make sure it compiles, make sure it passes tests. Again, the best way to resolve a GitHub merge failure is to not have them at all, the GitHub merge conflict. So I'm going to just delete all of that and say, hello, goodbye from the merge feature and master. And that's it. That's all you can do. You can only figure out how that code written by two people should work together, update it, compile it, pass your test, mark it as resolved. Then you commit the merge. And once this merge has been committed. Looks like the page is out of date. Do a bit of a reload here. You get to this page which says, okay, are you ready to merge this pull request? You created a new commit. Do you want to actually merge it? I will say yes. Merge the pull request. Confirm the merge. And now everything looks like it has worked properly. We're going to come back over to the GitHub merge examples. No more pull requests because that was resolved. But on the master branch and I look at alpha, it has the merged code on it. If I go to the feature branch and look at alpha, it has the merged.
Hello, surprise! It's a video about Git called, you can think of the lines as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if person A makes a change and submits a pull request, meaning, hey, you the library, please pull my changes, right? I want to push my changes to you, but I'm requesting that you pull my changes. If this person just made changes to lines 5 and 6, and this person just made, and this person's doing the same thing, but made changes to lines 2 and 3, the Git system is smart enough to figure out how to pull both of these things in with no conflicts, because there are no conflicts. If I want to accept changes to lines 2 and 3, I can accept those at the same time, one before the other, simultaneously. Can't really do it simultaneously, as lines 5 and 6. However, if right here, person B makes a change to line 4, and person A also makes a change to line 4, then we have what's known as a conflict. And typically, what will happen, what just happened to me right now, is I merged this one. I merged this one, and thinking about it, was done, it's finished, and it worked fine. It merged with no problems. But now when I went to merge this one, I got a message saying resolve conflicts. Now there are a variety of ways you can resolve conflicts, and I think that I've in some of my previous tutorials looked at working with Git command line locally, and I can have the text file there. But what I'm going to do is see if I can resolve the conflict just through the GitHub interface itself. So let's take a look at how that works. Now, once again, this isn't the best scenario, and I might come back and do a follow-up with, because it'd be nice to see kind of a trivial example that just, where I can really know what the changes are. But I'm just going to look and see there's a whole discussion here, and we can see these are the files. These are the files that have conflicts in them, matrix.js and matrix.test.js. So hopefully you can continue to watch this even if you don't understand what the code in those files is doing. I'm going to look and see what are the conflicts are. Oh, this is definitely going to go down the tubes, the internet tubes really quickly. So I'm going to click this resolve conflicts button, and now it's, ooh, look at this. Ooh, okay, all right. Oh, I'm in matrix.js. Okay, I have to figure out what's going on here. So we can see, look, this is where the conflict is. Oh, look, I think I know how to resolve this. Okay, so this is where the conflict is. Now, what is it telling me here? Map improvements, master equals, greater than. So what this is showing me through kind of like a visual interface of the text file that there are two proposed ways that this code could run. one of the files had it this way, and one of the files had it this way. In fact, the current master has it this way, but the one that I'm trying to merge has it this way. And why does this one have it this way? This is the thing that I changed. I want it this. So it's up to me now. There's no right or wrong answer here. As the kind of proprietor of this GitHub repository, I've got to decide if both pull requests if both pull requests work on the same line, I have to pick one. Which one do I want? And I'm going to take this one at the bottom. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this. Whoops, what did I just do? I'm going to delete this. Now, if only I knew how to use a computer, I'm going to delete this. And now, are there any other conflicts? Please be. No other conflicts? Oh, I'm so lucky. I'm going to now say mark as resolved. Now, one thing you can do if you're the proprietor of a GitHub repository is you could just write to the person submitting the pull request, I'm so sorry, but some conflicts arose. I love your pull request. Do you think you could refactor it? Because you could leave this up to the contributor, certainly. But I'm here, live on the internet. I mean, maybe I'm not live anymore. I'm recorded. And so there we go. Oh, no. OK, so now I have this other file. Let's look at this. I might just quit while I'm ahead. Here, but let's see if I can look at this other file. So this code might look very strange to you. This is something called unit testing, and actually related to this video series, I have a video series that I will link to in this video's description about how you can run automated tests that make sure a change in your code doesn't actually break your code. That's what this is doing here. So there's map improvements, that's the pull request, and master. You know what? I think this is a very trivial change. It looks to me like this was just added at the end, and there was like a line break or something that caused a merge conflict. So this looks like something that I could actually just completely delete here, and then delete here. And this was just some new stuff that got added to the end as part of this pull request. There was like an extra line break or something, so GitHub detected a conflict, but it really was not a conflict. So now I can go and I can click mark as resolved.
รีสอร์ทไม่ได้